Hi, Dave Taylor here again, and I want to talk about a common problem that all of us iOS device users have, and that is lack of space. So, here's my iPhone 6s, and I have a pretty decent amount of storage, but it's not always convenient to get to that storage, and of course it fills up, and so there I am, and I'm like, oh, I want to just toss a couple more movies on before my flight, and ooh, ran out of space. So one of the common problems that we have with these devices is they have constrained space. Now, a lot of Android phones, I could actually put in a micro SD card directly, and that would give me extra space, up to 128 gigabytes. But on iOS devices, and it's not just the phone, iPads have the same issue, you're sort of constrained with whatever amount of space they have. If you're on Wi-Fi, you can get to the cloud, etc., etc. Not always very helpful when you're on an airplane or otherwise away from the Wi-Fi network. Enter a class of devices that tries to solve that problem. So let's start with the one that actually is the most straight-ahead solution, and this one is the MiLi iData flash drive, 16 gig. You can see it comes with cables and such. And let me actually disassemble their packaging. It's a pretty decent packaging. And the basic idea is it's a hard drive with a lightning connector. So I plug it into my phone and boom, I'm ready to roll with extra storage. Now, it does act as an external drive, so I need to use their special app to be able to access it, but I can copy data from the phone onto the device and vice versa, and I can access data on the device directly, so I could actually store movies on here. Now, the MiLi iData has some positives, but it also has one limitation, which is that it's a micro USB on the back. So that's why they ship the cables, because you have to use the cables to be able to do anything particularly interesting with it. For example, if I plug in this particular cable, now it's a USB 2 or 3 actually, I guess, and I can plug this into my computer and now I can copy data onto it. But by default, unless you have their cables, it's just a drive, it's just a device that plugs into the bottom of your phone or your iPad. And this one with 16 gig of memory runs about $59. You can find it at staples.com, for example. And the app's free to download from the App Store. They all tend to have that. But here's the thing, that's a solution to the problem. Now, another company, PhotoFast, has been in this space for a long time too, and they have a couple of interesting ideas here that are slight variations. The one I like is this tiny little guy. This is like the smallest device that I've seen for a long time that plugs into an iPhone. This is a micro SD card reader. So what they've done is they've basically done the same sort of thing as this, but they've said, you know what? You get your own micro SD card. You have multiple micro SD cards, and what they've done is they basically said, let's take these iOS devices and let's make them micro SD card compatible. So again, you plug it in, and I will note that this one plugs in properly with my case, and it then immediately, you can see here, it immediately wants to pop up an app, and if you don't have the app installed, it will prompt you to install it. And then whenever you're ready, you just put in your little micro SD cards and it'll actually be able to read them and all the same sort of process. It's a separate app. But for one thing, for people that have Android phones with micro SD cards, this is a really nice way to transfer data. But it also is just super convenient, and it's small and it's nicely priced. It's $39. You can pick it up at photofast.com. And just for reference sakes, I looked on Amazon just this morning, and a 32 gig micro SD card is only $11.99. So you can get this and 32 gig for about the price of the MiLi, which is only 16 gig. So pluses and minuses, this isn't quite as convenient in terms of being able to transfer data between your computer, but that's where one of the other PhotoFast products comes in handy. This is their memories cable, and I think this is a phenomenally great idea. This is a cable that, let me pull it out of their packaging, Lightning on one end, USB 3.0 on the other end, and it has storage in the cable. Well, it's really in the ends, but this is 32 gig of storage, and I can use it as a charging cable, and when I plug it in, again, you can see it immediately launches an app. So let's get that app running. And so here I am in my app from PhotoFast, again, free download, App Store, etc. You've heard this song. And I can use it just like this, or I can plug it into the computer to charge, or I can have just the cable, and I can plug the cable into the computer, and then I can write data or read data from this storage device directly. So I think this is such a great idea, because the frustration I have with these sort of devices is either I have to carry extra cables, or somehow I have to go through other hoops to be able to do any sort of charging. And I don't know about you, but I don't really want to carry 500 cables. I do, but I don't really want to. So this seems like it's such a great solution. Even if I ignore the storage, I can use it as a charging cable. I can plug my iOS device, my iPad, into my laptop or into a wall outlet and charge it. And, you know, really nicely done. And if you look closely, this is one of those, no, it's not. I was going to say it's a bi-directional USB connector, but it's just kind of funny the way they have the plastic looking. So ignore that last couple of seconds. But this just seems like such a great solution. Now, the downside is it is 32 gig, it is charging, it is all sleekly designed. It's a very attractive look, as you can see there. It's a little bit more spendy. So it's $89.99 on Amazon, and you can also pick up a 64 gig version, which is just a little, you know, incrementally a little more expensive. Oh, and one more thing that I really like about this PhotoFast Memories cable, that's what these are called, is that you can actually lock the data so that you have to use their app to decrypt it. So that way, you know, it's sort of a generic problem with all of these sort of devices. If I lose this and you plug it into your device, do you then see all of my data, my contacts, my photos? Well, with this particular device from PhotoFast, singular, this particular device, actually I can make sure that doesn't happen. And that makes this a big win. So out of all these different devices and all these different solutions for giving me extra storage on my iPad or iPhone, I absolutely am a huge fan of the PhotoFast Memories cable. So about 89 bucks on Amazon.com. This is Dave Taylor, and now I just need to figure out which of the Academy Award nominated films I should be watching on my iPhone. Because I'm sure that big, vast expanse of cinema screen is very well duplicated on my phone. That's actually a different topic. Anyway, Dave Taylor, iOS storage devices. See you in my next video.